All right, so here we are with another bass video. Today we're going to be looking at my fretless jazz bass. Now, I'm not a fretless player. I don't pretend to be a fretless player. In fact, when I do the sound samples, you will find out that I'm not a fretless bass player. I suck at fretless. So why do I own a fretless? Well, how do you get better at playing fretless unless you practice and get better at playing fretless? But I can't say that I've ever had a need to play fretless on a gig. So I didn't want to spend a lot of money on a fretless bass, and I didn't. So let's take a look. So here's my fretless bass. This is a Harley Benton. If you're not familiar with Harley Benton basses, they are Thomann, which is a music store based out of Germany. It is their house brand of instrument. And they make some really fantastic entry-level instruments. Obviously, there's some cost cutting that goes on because they are really, really inexpensive. So this bass was $160. $160. Shipped from Germany to the United States with the shipping and all the extra add-on fees. It cost me a little under $215. And it shipped from Germany and made it here in 3 days, which was fantastic. And if you look at this, this is a very pretty piece of wood. Now, I think it's probably 2 or 3 pieces. And if we flip it over on the back, it looks like it's 3 pieces. Looks like there's a piece here and a piece here and a piece here. But it's pretty. It's swamp ash. The only bad part about it is I'm pretty sure that there are sledgehammers that weigh less than this bass. It's heavy. And when I say it's heavy, I'm not weight sensitive to basses. I'm 6'5", I weigh about 230 pounds. So a 10-pound instrument hanging off my shoulder, I eat more than 10 pounds in a meal, right? So that's not this thing, I haven't weighed it, but I would say it's probably approaching 12 pounds. It's PV T42 or whatever, T40 or whatever that bass is that has its own gravitational pull. It's very close in weight to that. But all of this is stock except for the tuners. So I had read that the stock tuners sucked, and I spent $85 on a set of Shaler tuners, which, that cost half the price of the bass. And really, the OEM tuners weren't bad. And had I not already ordered the tuners, I probably wouldn't have replaced them. Especially on an instrument that's just to play with and practice with and try to get better at playing a fretless. These Roswell pickups, not bad. I'm telling you, they sound pretty good. Just a bent steel bridge. I don't know if these are really brass saddles or if they just have some kind of gold anodizing on them. Doesn't matter. They work. I did take the electronics out and I shielded everything in the cavity because there was no shielding. This is a budget bass and there were some corners cut. So I shielded the back of the pick guard and I shielded the cavity and I grounded everything. The pots in here, while they feel good and they work absolutely fine, there's nothing wrong with them, they are tiny. So if you want to buy a bass like this and replace the electronics, normal size like CTS pots, you may have to route out the cavity. It's pretty tight in there. I can't say that for sure. I didn't measure it, so I may be dead wrong, but you can see where some costs were cut. I normally roll all of the fingerboards, fretboards on bass. So this is a good example. We'll look at it later. I don't know how close the camera will get. Probably won't focus well enough for you to see. Maybe on this side, but I don't usually roll this side as aggressively. I roll the fretboard edges of necks that I buy, unless they're like my Fender American Professional ones that come that way, or this one over here that I had made, and we'll get to that later. So I wanted to do the same to this, and it's a simple technique. You just take a screwdriver and you gently rub rub the corner of the neck until it kind of flattens out, and you kind of move the screwdriver around, to get a nice rounded edge. When I tried to do it on this bass, and this is supposed to be rosewood, it splintered. I've never had a rosewood neck splinter. So either it's not really rosewood or it's very cheap rosewood, but that's neither here nor there. It's a $160 bass, so keep that in mind. So let's see what it sounds like. All right, so here we are with the Harley Benton. So, like I said, I am not a fretless player. I'm trying to be, that's why I bought a cheap fretless bass. But if you're expecting Bakithi Kumalo or, who else, Steve Bailey or somebody like that, no. I'm going to play a lot of sour notes. And that's just how it is. But I did change the strings on this to flat wounds. These are a set of Labella low tension strings. I love Labella flats. The Labella Jamerson set that's on that P bass back there are great, and these are good as well. I also have another bass with flats, this red one. It's wearing D'Addario chromes for a reason, and when I review that bass, we'll talk about that. But otherwise, this bass, for the money, it's hard to fault it. I mean, it's got its faults, right? But, it's not of the highest quality materials. It weighs, it's very heavy, but it sounds pretty good. So let me play around a few samples. I'm going to shut my mic off and let you listen to it through the emulation first, and then we'll play it by itself. All right, so that's it through the SVT patch. Let me go ahead and bypass everything and let you hear what it would sound like just on its own, all by itself. As soon as I patch my audio in here, sorry, I'm a rank amateur. And here we go with just the sound of the bass. And there you go. That is the sound of the bass on its own. And there really isn't a whole lot to say about the Harley Benton. If you are looking to get a bass for a beginner, maybe you've got a kid that wants to play bass, other than the weight, I'd highly recommend it. And the weight, I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker. It's not something you'd want to stand on a 4-hour gig and hold. It's heavy. But that's really, the fact that I'm harping on the weight should really tell you how good the instrument really is. It's really that good. And a lot of guys, this is something a pro player once told me, and he said, you need to have one or two basses that are superior high quality basses, that they're your go-tos. But then you need to have several basses that are less expensive, maybe not professional quality, that if you need them, if you need that particular sound, you've got it. And that's exactly where this bass fits in. And they make fretted models, obviously, as well. And if you want a P bass and you want a jazz bass, Harley Benton now makes a model called the Goto model, which have upgraded tuners, and they have a little more bells and whistle. They have a different bridge on them, and they're fantastic. Go look at reviews for the Harley Benton Goto basses. They're great. So say you've got a boutique 5-string and you need a meat and potatoes P bass or a jazz bass, or you're a guitar player and you need something for your studio when you need to lay down a bass track. These are excellent. In fact, the guitar player in a band that I have played in and still do, kind of on a fill-in basis. He said that he would like to have something like this just to keep around in case he wants to mess around, practice playing bass or lay down tracks or something. There's absolutely nothing wrong with Harley Benton basses. They're fantastic. So we'll wrap this one up. That's really all I have to say about this one. And thank you guys for watching. We'll see you the next time.